Hi everyone, it's Olga from SEOSLY. This is SEO Podcast by SEOSLY. Today I have a very special guest. This is Terry Power. Terry, how are you doing? SEOSLY, SEO done right. I'm Olga an SEO consultant in SEO since 2012. Don't forget to subscribe to learn SEO for free with me. Now let's get into the show.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Hope you are, Olga.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm very happy to have you here because I've been following you for a long time. I also listen to SEO Fight Club and you sometimes chime in there. And I also recently watched your presentation on SEO Rockstars. I watched it online and I really loved your presentation. So I hope that today you will share your SEO story and hopefully some of the tips and tricks regarding SEO you have. So before we get started, can you in 2 sentences introduce yourself to the audience in case someone doesn't know you?
Certainly. My name is Terry Power. You can see my name right there on the screen. And I've been working online, making my money online since 1994
Wow. Okay.
when I got my first certification as a certified internet webmaster. It's a certification that doesn't exist anymore. But at the time, there were only about a little over 3,000 websites. So as long as
Oh.
you built one, people were going to find it because everybody was like, "Ooh, this new thing, the web." But unfortunately, by the turn of the century, just building a website wasn't going to get it found. So I started looking at SEO, and now I'm an SEO consultant. I've spoken in Europe, all over the United States. I I love it. I mean, it beats working for a living, and it's because Google likes to tweak things. It's constantly changing, and it's fun to keep up with and find new new tools and new ways to do things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So where are you based exactly?
I live in North Carolina. I've
Uh-huh.
been here for half my life.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay. So 1994, you're saying. Okay. I think my first website was I think I created it around 2000 or something, but I hadn't stumbled upon SEO, I think, until 2009 or something. So, so can you tell me more about your very beginnings of SEO? When did you kind of decided that, okay, I need to do the SEO thing? Like, was it for Alta Vista or was it only when Google started becoming more popular?
no, it was before there was a Google. But
Uh-huh.
once there was uh, 30,000, 40,000 websites, and half of them were porn. So if you weren't into porn, um, you had a better chance of ranking. But I started looking around online at forums and chats and
Uh-huh.
talking to other people and looking at websites, looking especially at the websites that were ranking. What were they doing that I wasn't? Uh, competitive competitors, direct competitors. And to this day, that's what works: is to see what the people that are ranking are doing is working and how you can institute that. And there was a time when simply filling any white space on your site with your keywords in white was what would rank you. Who had it up the most times on their site, you know? Um, but that changed as Google came around and went, wait a minute. so, and although the algorithm grows and changes, some of the stuff still is the same. But it's still the most important is to look at the competition, see what they're doing. If Google's ranking them at number one, they're doing something right. And there's no good reason usually why you can't be doing that right also.
So in the past, it was like white background, white text, and now it is, I think, keyword density still kind of is a thing, right? Even
Right.
though it's like,
That still works. That still works. But now people will tell you, "Ooh, you're going to get penalized." I doubt you'll get penalized, but if you do, I doubt it'll be in the next year or two. So, if you can make some money now, now that doesn't mean you want to do that with a client. They
Yeah.
might not like that you did it and didn't tell them, and they might not like that their nephew or brother-in-law or partner says, "Look what they did. That's against Google's rules," and you can get in trouble from the client. I mean, not from Google. Google's rules, they don't they don't have any bite to their bark. So,
Uh-huh.
but you can't explain that to a client. So, if you're doing client work, you have to be a little closer to the white hat end of the scale.
I'm coming from this very white hat background, but I kind of switched a little bit recently. And I was also like very always very white hat with my clients, and I talked about those other things to one of my clients recently, and he really liked that idea of keyword density, and he wants me to test like everything regarding that, and we are testing, and it is working very nicely so far. So no penalties so far. Okay, so you are now an SEO consultant, and what exactly is it that you do? Like, do you have a team? Do you like work solo? Tell me more about it.
I have a couple of VAs that work with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a sales guy that works with me, and basically, we've got one of our clients has a pretty well established e-com store,
Uh-huh.
which of course is a little different than just a local business. Also, a couple local businesses and some national businesses and stuff like that, as well as I have some sites of my own, some that I use for testing and some that I just use, for profit. And because it's important to have sites where you can test things
Yeah,
without fear of, oh well, if I lose that domain, I lose it. But that never happens. But um, where you can test keyword density and find that, hey, this will help me rank. It won't help with conversions, but that's okay. One thing at a time.
exactly.
Great conversions don't help on page 7. So you got to get ranking where people can find you before you need to worry too much about conversions.
Perfect. And can you tell me a little bit more about the tests you have been doing recently? Like, what have you been testing?
I've been testing and on testing CTR
Mm-hmm.
without proxies, doing it what I think is the right way. But probably, I'm hoping within the next month, I'll have some good results. But even bad results are better than none.
Sure.
And I've also been testing the validity and the indexability ranking of Microsoft Sway,
Uh-huh.
SWAY. It's a cool tool, and Microsoft likes it, but
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, they haven't been promoting it a whole lot lately.
Can you tell more about that tool?
It is a tool um, for building a property where it has it offers you the opportunity to for a WYSIWYG kind of thing where you can say, I want this as my hero image at the top of the page. I want this article, this video, this text. You build it in pieces, and then you have a complete property, a web page. Can have links on it. You can have about anything on it. It's like a Google site. It can be anyway, like a Google site, but you have complete control. You can fiddle with the HTML. You can put any images, bring things in from wherever else you want. But
Uh-huh.
what you build is a property, a web page that, in theory, you build one that has that keyword density you want, still allows for those conversions and stuff like that. So you could use it for affiliate marketing, for branding,
Mm.
things like that.
Something like Google Sites, more or
Well,
less.
it can be. Um,
Uh-huh.
they have some templates, and that's the best way to start. Play with the template and just change out where it has an image, change out your image. Where it has text, put in your text, and see what it looks like, and then start tweaking. Um, like any good platform, you can share it, um, either through the link itself or directly on various social medias and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it seems to have decent stickability. I don't know that that's really a word, but we use it all the time. Um, so I've been sending links to sways that I've built to see uh,
Huh.
if they will maintain rankings.
Very, very interesting. I heard someone say you know a lot about lawyer SEO. This is also something I am interested in and I have some experience with. Can you maybe share some of the most common mistakes regarding local SEO, some myths, something that everyone is doing wrong?
Well, one of the main things people do wrong is they try to rank for the keyword personal injury lawyer San Diego
Uh-huh.
instead of trying to rank for personal injury lawyer and trying to rank for San Diego. There's two facets of that, and you need to rank for both. You don't want to rank for the one keyword with all of them because nobody in San Diego is putting in personal
San
injury
Diego.
attorney San Diego. They're just looking for an attorney. They already know where they are, and they know Google knows where they are, so they don't feel the need to put that in. As users of search engines, we've gotten a little smarter. We know to put in longer tails if we need to be more specific, but we rarely need to specify where we live or where we're searching unless we're searching somewhere else. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Preparing for a trip or something. So a lot of the people make that mistake, but with attorneys, the the important thing is the trustworthiness and the authority, not in the sense of eat or eat, whatever. That's just another word for link juice, really. But
Uh-huh.
but it's important for law firms or individual attorneys to build their brand across other platforms, not just rely on a website or their Google Business Profile or their Bing Places profile or stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Have those across socials, across um, various directories, things like that, so that everywhere you find that particular law firm or attorney, you find they specialize in the same stuff. You find the same information, and you find that they're placed on Just Law or all the lawyer directories and things like that. So, as with most things SEO wise, the width matters more than the singular depth.
Great tip. And what about creating web pages targeting like personal injury Los Angeles, personal injury Chicago, whatever? What do you think about a law firm creating such service pages for every practice area and every location they have or every location they want to rank in?
That's the only way to do it, really.
Uh huh.
You've got to let Google know so they can tell the searchers that we practice this kind of law and we practice it in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those, the what we practice and where we practice it, you can have multiples of those.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are lawyers, excuse me, there are law firms that practice in multiple states and deal with, for instance, traffic tickets. And you can
Mm-hmm.
find the same law firm, the same huge company in Florida as California or Texas, because they have told Google, we've got lawyers that we can practice here, 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 you know, because Google doesn't know what you do or where you do it. They just know what people are searching for.
Yeah.
And that algorithm will look for matches. And that algorithm is just looking for ones and zeros because it's code. All they see is ones and zeros. They can't see the picture you've got of your lawyer teaching his cat to play piano or whatever it is. All they see is the ones and zeros. So you've got to match those sets of ones and zeros to whatever searches you're trying to rank for, whatever keywords, short tail, long tail.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're planning on ranking for keywords that include geos and include your niche or your specific area of practice, then you've got to have a web presence that targets each of those sets of keywords.
Mm-hmm.
And, and not just if you practice personal injury attorney, and while it might not be a different practice, you also mention car accidents. And you practice in LA and in San Diego, right there, that's four combinations. You got lawyer,
Yeah.
car accident San Diego, car accident Los Angeles, personal injury attorney Los Angeles, personal injury attorney San Diego. So you've got to cover all those bases. Now, granted, with legal, Google understands a lawyer and an attorney are the same thing. They've
Mm-hmm.
equated those sets of ones and zeros that they're the same. So if you just got lawyer everywhere, attorney can still find you. You won't rank as high for attorney, but people can still find you if they use the other term.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a matter of, especially if you're working on local, there are local platforms that you can either put paid or free posts in, whether it's your local newspaper,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a site like Patch, which has over 1,200 locations around the U.S., but they're all locally directed. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking at Patch, you could put ads, articles, and such for free or pay. You'd have the option in San Diego and others in Los Angeles because they've got several Patch locations in each.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hyper focus um, those areas. You could even hyper focus if you wanted on. You can look up on Google or Bing and find the zip codes with the highest per capita incomes. If that's what you want to focus on, the people that are better able to pay you a lot of money. Or if you're looking to help the little guy, the people that might not have hardly any money, you can focus, hyper local on those just by, looking at the demographics of the area. Because
Uh-huh.
a city like Los Angeles, it's a big city, and there's a huge difference in the poorest people and the richest people. You know, Los Angeles probably is second to New York in that discrepancy. But
Uh-huh.
places like that, you can say, "Oh, I want to only want to work with the people who are underprivileged. I only want to work with the people who are, you know, billionaires. I want and focus that way if you want."
Mm-hmm.
There's so many opportunities on the web to segregate your audience and to
Mm-hmm.
decide who you want to focus on and
Yeah, yeah.
target them.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect, perfect,
And
perfect.
local's so much easier than national or international.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so can you tell me maybe reveal some techniques, tips regarding Google Business Profile for lawyers? Like what would you advise, not advise doing regarding that?
Well, if you're dealing with Google business profiles at all, you probably know if someone leaves you a review, you should leave a response.
Mm-hmm.
Show that you, the owner, the manager, is engaged with the GBP. Also, you should put in questions and answers. So all those questions and answers that people get, that people ask every time you talk to somebody, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you should have those questions and your answers in your GBP. You should also upvote your own questions and answers.
Oh.
People forget to do stuff like that, and
Uh-huh.
Google looks at that. They don't care if it's you putting in the question and you putting in the answer, as long as it's the right answer for that question. And um, if you're one of the questions you get a lot is, do you work on a contingency basis, or do you have to be paid up front? Then put that in there because people wonder. And
Yeah.
if they know it going in, then you eliminate that roadblock of the people that one answer or the other was going to eliminate them from speaking with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another way of just separating your audience from the people that weren't going to be interested in you anyway. They'd have eventually figured that out. Let them figure it out now, so that the people that do engage are more likely to convert. It's
Yeah.
engagement's the thing. Um, the uh, the posts you can do offers. You can put an offer in there just as a standing offer. That we offer. I don't know. 28 we take 28%. We don't take 33% like the guy up the street or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can put in there, that we have late office hours, so you don't have to call us during work. You could call us later when you get home. We're open. We have lawyers on staff till 8 o'clock, or things like that. There are so many. If you go to the profile to fill out your profile, there are so many options in there, and then so many services. With attorneys, there are more than a dozen categories you can put an attorney in, and you're
Yeah.
allowed to use 10, a major one and then 9 others. So look at the competitors. Again, that's a basic of SEO. Look at the competition, see what categories they're ranking for, see what services they're offering, what questions and answers they get, whether they've answered them or not, or the answers would be different for you. Doesn't matter. See what questions are coming up, what like I said, what services they offer. Do they mention that they are, if they are veteran owned, minority owned, if they have, accessible facilities, if um, all sorts of services you can put in there, as well as um, all of your the conditions. If you have, free coffee, if you everything, put in as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because there are people looking for specific things, but also because um, Google realizes you are taking more, making you're making use of more of those uh, triggers in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Google likes it when you use their tools, and likes it even better if the more you use them. So you want to use them fully. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
here coming up in a couple of weeks, is it a couple of weeks? Maybe it's less than that now. The business.site that one could build with their GMB, now GBP, they're going away.
Uh-huh.
It says we're tired of supporting them. It's a lot of weight, extra pages they don't need to worry about. I believe the posts will still populate on a page, um, but for whatever reason, it won't be the page that uh, possibly was built for you as a business.site. So if you haven't already, you need to make preparations, because that's not going to be there anymore. If you don't have a website built, Um, there are so many places out there that'll with AI now that'll build you a quick website or at least a one pager, which was the basic of the business.site was a one pager, although you could
Yeah.
add pages as you added posts, but at least a page that is a landing page that tells people how to get a hold of you, again, where you are, what you practice, how to get a hold of you, when you're open, those kind of things. You can flesh it out as much as you want, but you want to have something there for people that go to that GBP to have a website to go to, and
Yeah.
it's better if it's one that's really well targeted.
Yeah. I guess it's going away because like it has been spammed a little bit too much by SEOs, right?
Well, I think that's part of it, but I think that's more an excuse. I think it's
Uh-huh.
going away because that's something they've been supporting for free, and
Yeah, right.
somebody went along and went, "Here's something we could get rid of that we're spending resources on." Because
Uh-huh.
Google believes, there's a saying, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail because that's the way you deal with things. And Google
Right.
believes every business has websites, and not every business does.
Yeah.
Um, but they think, well, you should if you don't. So let's get rid of, giving you that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just Google has to watch their pennies.
Yeah, I think so, especially now, right?
Yeah, I mean, because Bing is far ahead of them in AI, thanks to their spending
Yeah.
lots of money with OpenAI, and Apple's always threatening them to do something. They've never done anything with search,
Mm-hmm.
but so yeah, Google's got to watch their pennies, and a trillion websites is a lot of stuff to try to manage. So if you can cut that down by I know last several years ago I read there were I read 80,000 local businesses in the U.S. just in the U.S.
Oh,
I don't know how many of those have what is a GBP now, but even if you got rid of 50,000 web pages to worry about, that would
yeah.
help Google out a little bit, I would think. Not that they're
Yeah.
hurting money, don't get me wrong. They're raking it in, but they want to keep raking it in. So,
Yeah, sure. And what about, I recently heard like people talking about Google ranking changing based on your business hours. So that some people, some lawyers like to change their business hours to be like 24 hours so that they rank all the time. What's your take on it, your experience with that, your observations?
well, as someone who has some GBPs for cremation, um, bodies are not cremated 24 hours a day,
Uh-huh.
but the business is open. So for a legal office, if you want to go 24 hours a day, then you have to have someone able to answer that phone at 24 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
even if your location closes the doors at 5 or 6. You know, um, because at some point Google may call the number just to check that everything's going well. Sometimes to even try to sell you something, but that's pretty rare unless you're a big money Google Ads spendee already. But more importantly, someone else is going to call after hours and burn you to Google and say,
Oh.
that's working for a competitor and going, they're saying 24 hours, but if you call after 6 o'clock, all you get is an answering machine or a voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
And Google doesn't want that. So, like I said, if you're going to put 24 hours, you better have somebody manning that phone 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if you could even get away with nowadays with a simple message service. That
So
used to
it
be
has
the
to be
thing.
like,
And that was big when we started our cremation GBPs all across the country. We had a company that took messages and then sent us emails. So I
mm-hmm.
don't know that even they would work well anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, I understand. And Regarding local SEO rankings, like what would you say are the top 3, 5 things that work for local SEO if you were to enumerate them?
Um, well, you should take advantage of Bing places and Google business profiles because as AI gets better, they're going to be looking for more local. The search engines like to show you businesses that are close to you because you're more likely to go to them and think, oh, I got a good result because they sent me to the right place. So they want to send you the right place. So um, there's nothing wrong with having your the name of your Bing Places or Google Business profile to indicate what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Google would prefer it be the business name, right? Um, William Jones, Esquire. But you can get away with William Jones, divorce attorney, if you simply, file a doing business as and and can supply that to Google if they ever ask for it. So, and then because keywords matter, just like an exact match domain can still help some. So, if you if you can get an exact match domain for your organic local listings, that's even better. Those organic local pages should support your GBP and vice versa. So that means each of them should have links to the other. Your GBP map should appear on your organic pages, and it's okay. People talk about keyword cannibalization, right? Don't worry about that. There's nothing wrong with having 2, 3, 7 organic listings on page one. Okay. Sure, if you've got 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, there's a chance they won't click on your number one, but they're not clicking on another competitor at any of those spaces you've got. They're
Yeah.
coming to you just in a different door. And there's nothing wrong with having a store with lots of doors. So um, create properties. They don't have to be yours. You can create a LinkedIn page. You can create a Facebook page. You can, and so on and so forth, if you want to use other people's properties. But have a lot of properties that all say what you do and where you do it, and of course when you're open and how they can reach you and all that kind of stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and again, link those so your business profile, your main web page, all of it's being supported by all those other properties you've built. Google
Mm-hmm.
links PDFs. If you create a PDF of your business, put it on SlideShare and other PDF uh, places. You can, if you do a podcast, put it on SoundCloud, put it on Amazon, so put it on Alexa and Apple. There's just so many. I'm a firm believer: create once, publish everywhere. And now that we've got robots to do our writing for us, if we want, we just have to edit. Um, do your editing, and then create all those different uh, properties, whether it's videos, again, podcasts, shorts, um, get them all out there. All of them saying, this is what we do, this is where we are, this is how to get a hold of us when we're open, that kind of thing. Make
Mm-hmm.
it so when someone Googles your main keywords, they're finding a whole lot of you and not a lot of somebody else. Um, because you've got all these avenues, most of which are not going to cost you hardly anything. What's a domain cost? 10 or 12 bucks. I mean, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of those other platforms, don't even charge you to put user content on there. So,
Yeah.
take advantage of them. Be seen everywhere, and then you'll be seen where you want to be seen.
Perfect, perfect. And maybe you can share like one more advanced, more black gray hat technique for local SEO. Like I think it was last week during Fight Club, they were talking about URL manipulation with parameters. Like, do you do this stuff? Can you share something?
Um, well, just if you do a search for if you're a car accident attorney in San Diego, if you do a search on Google, go to maps.google.com and do search for San Diego car accident attorney and look at the URL. You'll see the word car and accident and attorney in there. You'll see San and Diego, right? You'll see those. You can change those. That San and that Diego can be changed to Los and Angeles. Um, the car accident attorney can be changed to lawyer. Those create completely different URLs.
Mm-hmm.
They still take you to your business.
Mm-hmm.
So once you find these URLs that take you where you want to go, or where you want your searcher to go, then you can manipulate them. And if you know what you're doing, if you understand coding, you can play a lot with them. But even if you don't understand them, you can read that URL and say, oh, that's where it says San Diego. I can take out that San Diego. That's two words. There'll be a plus sign between them. But if you instead then say, okay, let me just do one word, and then you go to all the suburbs of San Diego and you use that one word and change, you get all these other URLs. So that's the way to begin with URL manipulation, is literally taking the URL and replacing words that you can read. Google understands them too, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that's how they put together that search string uh, in the search bar is the extended URL, and it includes whatever the searcher has typed in. So you can manipulate that, and it's as if they typed in Los Angeles the next time, or Chula Vista, or wherever. So um, if you want to play with manipulated URLs, either get a ticket for SEO on the beach, or play around with them like that. Just start with them. The more you play with them, the more comfortable you'll get. You'll go, oh, if I put this in, now we can do divorce attorney also, not just car accident or whatever. Um, but with a lot of things, play with it, test it, see what happens when you change that part of the URL or that part of the URL. So you start to understand how it works.
Mm-hmm. So I
Then keep in
yeah.
mind, once you get a list of those links, you can put them anywhere. You can get them indexed, of course, if you want, but you can put them in places uh, where people engage, social media, um, and and this is something I do that not a lot of people do for whatever reason. If I have links that I want people to engage with on social media, I buy a simple to understand domain and redirect it to that link,
Uh-huh.
because people will click on, um, I don't know, getfoundnotguilty.com. I'm sure that's taken, but I mean,
Yeah. Sure.
rather than that extended URL you've built for a
Mm-hmm.
car accident attorney or you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
as long as it sounds plausible to whatever niche, if it sounds relevant to the niche and is easy to remember so they can tell somebody else, oh, I went to, this.com, and people will go to it. If you see me on whether it's Fight Club or in interviews or things like that, I've mentioned I don't know how many people in the last year. Just because I'm doing tax stuff, I just noticed it's a little over a year now that I bought the zimwriter.com because I really
Uh-huh.
like Zimwriter. So I bought the
Oh,
zimwriter.com, which goes to my affiliate link for Zimwriter. Instead
hi.
of looking like an affiliate link that Facebook doesn't like or Pinterest isn't real happy about, I can just put the zimwriter.com. It's not a affiliate link, it's a domain. And it
Yeah.
makes sense that to look up information on the zimwriter.com makes sense, right? Um, and
Yeah.
so Matt Zimmerman, who behind the Zimwriter, pays me to use Zimwriter by affiliate commissions more than I pay him for Zimwriter. So
Yeah.
so for 10 or 12 bucks, you can buy a domain. A lot less if
Yeah.
you're not as picky. But I try to find ones that I think will work. Um, but Yeah, there's the best thing to do if you want to get better at ranking is to try things. Go to Namecheap or GoDaddy or Pork Bun even. Pork Bun sells domains pretty cheap. Buy a domain and put something on it and play. You know, try to
Mm-hmm.
see if you want to rank for, I don't know, some think of some longer tail word, uh, uh, 4 or 5 words long, and repeat that on the page. Just that,
And see.
and see what happens, and then start changing. I mean, with these all these bots out here, you can content's not an issue anymore. You can create the content, and those bots, some of them will they'll write them for you with heavy on density on this or other entities for it or things like that. So you can get content written that makes it so much easier and faster to test. And
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
test, you'll know that whether you heard it from me, whether you heard it from Olga, you'll know for sure whether it works, whether it works in your instance, in your country, in your niche, and all that. Um, you won't have to say, well, I heard this works and I've been trying and it's not working. Because if you ask somebody, what should you do about duplicate content? You could get 100 different answers from 100 different people. You know,
totally, totally.
so don't listen to everybody else, whether it's me or Olga. Sorry, Olga, but
No worries.
yourself. You can listen to Olga and get some ideas. Oh, that's something I should test, but test it yourself.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. And
And
talking about, yeah, please
if I
go
can
ahead.
mention real quick, next month, no, April, I'm going to be out
Oh,
in Arizona at SEO Spring Training. If
perfect.
if you get a chance, it will improve your business if you can attend SEO
I
Spring
will
Training.
put a sure. I would love to go there, and I'm planning on going next year because this year it is colliding with a different conference for me.
Are you going to Saigon or where are you
Yeah,
going?
yeah.
Cool.
Are you?
No,
No.
no, both of them just won't work. So
Right.
yeah, and at Rockstars, Terry asked me if I would speak at spring training.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I've
Yeah.
spoken at Rockstars several times. A few years ago at spring training, but at Rockstars quite a few times. And this last one was, I thought, one of my better presentations.
Yeah. Can you
So
briefly talk about what you talked there because it was very, very interesting.
yeah, I talked about how anyone now can build their own large language model, train it just on what you want to train it on, which can eliminate all the hallucinations that some AIs can have. And you can customize that training so that that bot that you've built, whether you make it a chat bot, whether you make it more like a live chat or an entire page for it, however you want to use it, people can come and ask questions and get the right answer. I built one for SEO that I trained the bot on over 400 SEO tests that are done by
Oh.
SIA, SEO Intel, and IMG, both groups I'm part of. And so if you ask it a question about SEO, it will give you the answer and it will ask you if you want to know where that came from, and it'll tell you what test
Mhm.
or series of tests were done to give you that. I just finished one the other day. I guess I sent it yesterday to the client, an attorney, where it will walk anybody in the US through what to do if for a car accident, what to do about your car,
Uh-huh.
whether how to get a fair market value if it's totaled, what if say it's totaled, you get out of the hospital and it's in a junkyard somewhere, what to do to get uh, your property out of it, whether you can take out the new stereo you just had put in if it's not damaged, or if that's got to stay because it's part of a total. I mean, it'll answer all that no matter
Mm.
what state you're in. It'll know the laws of those states because that's what I trained it on, the laws of the 50 states on all that. And this is an attorney whose office deals with car accidents, but they deal with you getting remuneration for your aches and pains or injuries. But he
Yeah.
got to realize, and everybody says, well, what about my car? Oh, we don't handle that. We're attorneys. But he wanted to be able to say, here's where you go, and that'll answer
Yeah.
all your questions about that, or if it was flood damage, any damage to automobiles, in fact. But
Yeah.
so if you want to play with one of those,
Yeah.
uh, go to askandSEO.com. I
Mm-hmm.
think
I
it's
will
ask
put the link.
dash an-seo.com. So I've got one on there that is the one I built for rock stars. That is just SEO questions and answers,
Yeah.
and play with it. But it's beautiful what we can do now with AI, and it's new things coming all the time, new
Yeah.
new tools out there. Now, some of the new tools, of course, will be crap. Others that might be really great and then burn out quickly because they didn't think through scaling or anything like that. But I like to play with some new tools, and some of them I find turn out to be great. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, when the Zim Writer came out a little over a year ago, someone in my membership said, "Oh, this guy's doing this webinar on Saturday. You should check it out." I'm like, well, so I checked it out, and I was like, "That's pretty cool." But I didn't buy the lifetime because with a lot of AI tools, you don't know whether a year from now something way better is going to be out there, right? We saw that
Totally.
Jasper was the bomb when it first came out, or Jarvis it was Jarvis then
Yeah.
Jasper. Anyway, um, but now, unless you bought the lifetime, you're on to a better one, you know. Uh,
Totally.
so I bought it. I'm monthly. I'm paying like $5 a month. Um,
Uh-huh.
but it kept improving. He's done a great job. It's improving, 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 which is why I quickly said, I got to buy a domain. Instead of paying him $5 a month, I should have him paying me monthly.
Yeah.
But so anybody out there, play around with AI. Get good at just at one aspect of it. You don't have to be great at creating images and at creating long form content and at creating, stickers for your Etsy or whatever. Just focus on one aspect, and you don't have to be the best in the world at that one aspect. But if you get good at it, it'll help your business.
Yeah. Perfect. So if we are talking about AI, I need to ask you about this. What do you predict is the future of SEO? Are we going to be out of our jobs in a year? Is SEO dying and all that stuff? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't see it dying. Not any,
Uh-huh.
not anytime soon.
Yeah.
It may in 7 or 8 years, but I don't see it in the next 5 years because as humans, we always want to know, was there something better? And that means being able to search for a place to get my oil change that might be better than that place I went to. And if it just says this place, well, that might be the place I just went to. I want someplace else. I want a
Yeah.
list. I want to know where else. I want to know what else. I want to know how to do X or Y. And well, I can't do it that way because I don't have a Mac, or I can't do it that way because we want options, especially in the United States. There are countries in the world where um, you go to a grocery store and you're limited on your options, right? And other places in the U.S., you go to a grocery store and you go, well, shit,
Yeah.
look at all these. Just bleach. There's 48 different brands of bleach. What's the difference? They all say this. They got the same ingredient, but we want, you know, with it's competition. Uh, you can start your own bleach company, I guess, if you want. I'm sure it's a rough haul to do that. It's much easier to just rank somebody else's bleach company, but we want to compare, and our brains are set up to look for patterns, and search engines fulfill some of that. Now, don't get me wrong, search engines will become more influenced by AI. We're already seeing that. Bing uses Copilot all the time, the Google generative search and
Yeah.
stuff. But that doesn't mean there's no place for SEO, because there will be people that still want to get their their oil change at the top when people go look for it, and they will be willing to pay people to do that.
Yeah.
How we do it will alter as SEO grows up. SEO is just a baby still. I mean, AI is just a baby. SEO is pretty young, but AI is just a baby. As it grows up, we'll have to adapt, um, and your business will die if you don't.
Yeah.
So some SEOs will be out of business. Some already should be, but that's another story. But if you adapt AI, you can do your business better, cheaper, which means more profit margin. So, test things and test tools. Like I said, I use several tools every day, and all of them more and more are incorporating AI in them. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally, totally. Okay, okay, thanks. So Terry, where can people find you? Like, do you have a newsletter? Like you mentioned something about membership, so now it's your time to tell me where people can find you.
well, you can find me at terrypower.com, all one word. You can email me. Well, you can email me on that there. I have a website, Terry's Tips and Strategies, and
Uh-huh.
no ampersand. It's AND. But
Okay.
Terry's Tips and Strategies.com, which is a monthly membership where I every other Sunday I do a webinar. It's either on a topic of my choice or a topic that someone has asked about. One of the members asked, could you talk about this? And sometimes it's just, could you answer this question? So it's just a part of it. But anyway, all those are recorded. And if somebody joins today, they've got access to it's, I don't know, 160 or 180 videos of
Oh,
all these
okay.
webinars. Well, April Fool's Day I believe, will be 5 years I've been doing this.
Oh.
So I started on April Fool's Day way back because I thought, I don't know if this is going to work out. If anybody will pay me to be on, to come on. And also those people have access to me, a Skype group and a Facebook group that I'm in every day. Um, and more importantly, the the motto, if you will, the idea of the group is that we're not competitors. We're here to help
Mm-hmm.
each other. So if you find out something cool, let me know too. I want to get better. Um, and like when I talked about a couple months, maybe a month or two ago, I talked about Copilot, Microsoft's Copilot and Copilot Pro, and why you should get it instead of just ChatGPT, because for the same price, you can have both. But anyway, um, I tell people, try it out. If you find something really cool you can do with it, let the group know, because
Yeah.
we know, and I'll let you know when I find something cool or a technique or a trick that seems to be working well. I mean, I come back from like rock stars and I'll say, I'll do a quick post-mortem on rock stars. Now, I don't give away any specific tactics that somebody had, but I'll talk about, well, Ted talked about local, or Lee talked about going the other way, away from the herd, and stuff, um, because people will get ideas, and often I'll talk about ideas I got that are not directly what so and so said to do, but made me think, oh, what else I could do with that connection to what I'm doing. So when I get back from spring training, I'm sure I'll have some new ideas. Um,
Yeah.
I won't be saying, well, Marty Marion, who's really smart marketer, suggested this, but I might say he had a great, talk, and he was talking about this platform that I didn't know much about. You should look into that, and I'll show you what I've done with it since, based on something I learned. But um, but
Yeah.
that's something I started just for fun, and it's grown, and I
Perfect.
have it's a good membership, lots of cool people in there. many of them and
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's very, it's a very. I used to act professionally on stage, film, commercial, stuff like that. I still do some, but that's a very ensemble based activity, and I like my group to be that way, to where not all the momentum comes from me. Some
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll feed it and I'll get feedback, and somebody else says, "Did you check this out? Because we've been trying this, or we did what you said, but then we also added this and this, and everybody benefits." So
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And Twitter, LinkedIn, you're there as well, right?
yeah, and I think you can find all of that information linked from my website, terrypower.com.
Okay.
It's just a
Yeah.
one
I will
page,
link it
got links
somewhere.
to other stuff. So
Okay. Okay, Terry. So thank you so much for being my guest. I learned a ton, and I'm sure people also learned a ton from you. Thanks so much.
thanks for having me. It's good to see you, and I'll see you at a conference one of these days.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. So thank you, and bye bye, everyone.